people. How are you doing this wonderful afternoon? So today's video is about the inner child because I get this question a lot. I have emphasized a lot about the inner child in my videos, but even in my dating videos, most of the videos I've done. I also have some videos I did about the inner child and childhood trauma. So today I'm going to explain to the new people who is the inner child and what is childhood trauma and some of the things you can do to start healing that child. It's also this topic today is also in one of my dating packages, and actually every person who picks this package, I'm usually like, yay, they want to heal that part of themselves. So if you're new to my YouTube channel, my name is Muthoni Mukiri. I am a mindset coach and a personal development coach. I am a practicing coach, and this channel is all about emotional and mental wellness. I work with women all over the world to help them in terms of gaining confidence, their self-awareness, healing their inner child, getting to better relationships, leaving toxic spaces and such things. So you are at the right place. So the inner child, who is the inner child? So in every one of us as grown-ups, myself, yourself, whoever, that guy, whoever, everybody you see, they started as a young child, yeah? So, and in every grown-up, there's a little child. There's a baby, the one who grew up. So as children, we go through a lot of things. And some of those things can cause trauma, yeah? And sometimes when we talk about this trauma, the childhood trauma, sometimes we think about sexual abuse, we think about, those extreme cases. They also cause trauma and PTSD and a lot of other things, those extreme. But childhood trauma can be caused by something simple like abandonment during childhood, watching your parents suffer and die, watching one of your parents go through violence, going through being brought up in a toxic environment, being brought up by predictable parents. One time, one second they're mad, the other second they're happy. Like you never know, where you stand with them. It could be neglect. Some of us, like me, I went to boarding school. It affected me so much. I had to do a lot of healing afterwards. So it could be things like not getting enough parental love, not getting that care, not being heard, your emotions not being acknowledged. A lot of things can cause a lot of trauma as a child. And then, so if you don't heal that child, if that child doesn't heal, if you don't work on those issues you went through, you grow up with that trauma. We call it childhood trauma. So in every one of us, there's an inner child. That's how I started. That inner child, that girl, that little Muthoni who grew up, that girl is the person who enjoys life. That is the person who had dreams. That is the person who wanted to grow up. That is the person who was happy to be alive. And then, bam, trauma. So you grew up as a wounded child. You grew up with that trauma, with that scar, with that wound. The inner child is the person who enjoys life. If you don't work on healing the trauma, healing the wound, healing that broken part of you, you grow up in life as a people pleaser. You grow up with a lot of anger issues. You grow up so unhappy. You grow up feeling like you're not worthy. You grow up with a lot of anxieties. You grow up with a lot of uncertainty, with a lot of fear and uncertainties. That trauma governs you. That trauma controls you because you've never healed that child. That child grew up as hurt and wounded. That child is you, is inside here. If that child is hurt and wounded, so are you. So that's why you see grown-ups walking around, but they are broken children inside. They are broken babies inside, yeah? The beautiful Muthoni you see here, the beautiful person you are watching this, the tall, handsome, beautiful woman you are, or whoever it is you are watching this video, it is not you who enjoys life. It is that girl, that young boy who had ambitions, who grew up. So why would people, so you can ask this question, why would guardians let a child go through trauma? Yeah, the early people in our lives are the people who are supposed to love us, protect us, and show us how to go about life. A lot of our guardians, our parents, our early teachers in life, a lot of them did the best they could with the information they had. A lot of them had us when they were teenagers. A lot of our parents, they were just doing the best. And some of our parents and our guardians parented us from a place of trauma themselves that they did not deal with. So what happens? you pass the trauma over and over from generation to generation. They didn't know what they were doing. Some parents put their children through serious trauma, especially when it comes to academics. Like, you really had to perform. If not, it becomes a living hell. You feel you're not loved. They mess with your self-esteem. Some parents also used to body shame their kids a lot. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just doing the best they could. Some parents, even right now, some of my when I do my coaching, some of clients I come across are clients who've been really hurt by their parents, by their guardians. They've been called names, they've been told a lot of things, and a lot. I wish you were not born. Those things. That parent, that person doing that to that child, does not know the harm they are causing to that child in the long run. Yeah? If they knew, they wouldn't. If they knew how to go about it the right way, if they knew they will also have their own trauma that they're passing on to their child, if they know they're also a wounded child inside, and that the same is what they're passing on to this young child, if they knew, they wouldn't have done that. So how do you heal the inner child? The first way is through reparenting yourself. Is through becoming your own parent. Is through asking yourself, what is it I wanted as a young child? What is it I went through? You probably went through a lot of unpredictable parents who 1 minute they're slapping you around, the next minute they are happy. And probably you didn't get the love you wanted as a child. Nobody told you they were proud of you. Nobody clapped for you. Nobody told you they loved you. Nobody even hugged you. Some of these things, like hugs, we found them, they're luxury literally to us, because we started hugging people when we were grown-ups. We didn't know what that was. Probably it's being there for yourself, telling yourself you're enough, telling yourself you're beautiful. If you went through a lot of body shaming and nobody even told you, you look good, you look beautiful, you're presentable, you will make it in life, those things. You have to look at what you missed. If it's security, safety, you are brought up in a home that was very insecure, like a parent leaves, doesn't come for a week, the other one doesn't care, creating that secure environment for yourself at this point. So when you grow up with trauma, you grow up as a scared child who feels helpless. But now, because you're a grown-up, you have to ask yourself what you wanted as a child, what gap you have, and start doing those things for yourself. Reparenting yourself means basically becoming your own parent, giving yourself what they didn't give you. If they didn't give you the luxuries, they didn't give you the love, buy yourself nice things, tell yourself wonderful things, yeah? If they didn't give you security, they didn't protect you, protect yourself, take care of yourself. If they didn't support you in anything you did. So start supporting yourself. Start telling yourself, you know what, I am proud of you. I will make you proud. You're safe now. Those things. And also, whatever you say has also to be accompanied by the action. You cannot say, I will protect you, but you're hanging around with the wash guys and with people who are putting your life in danger. Yeah, so your actions also have to go hand in hand with what you say. It's easy to think because probably the people who put you through trauma are still alive. It's easy to think you should go and ask them for forgiveness and tell them blah, blah, blah. Well, you could, but telling them does not undo the damage and the coping mechanisms, the negative coping mechanisms that we develop from that trauma. Some of those coping mechanisms are things like withdrawal, are things like having a wall and we can't be able to be vulnerable, are things like anger issues, are things like anxiety and all those things, yeah? So as much as they would apologize, it can't undo the hurt. You have to do the healing work. Either you can do coaching with me, you can go for therapy, you can look for someone who's trained in that so they can help you. You can also start by reparenting yourself. Ask yourself, what is it I needed from my father, from my mother, from my guardians, people who brought, what is it I wanted? And you start telling yourself those things you wanted to hear. You start creating the environment you would have wanted as a child. You start loving that inner child and you start healing the wounds that were caused to you. So I would tell you this, even if you are, some of those people who did those things to us do not even know they did anything. They feel they gave you the best education. They feel at least you had a roof over your head. They feel they did their part. So by the time you explain to them, they hurt you, and they could even hurt you more in the process of, trying to tell you, what are you telling me? How did I hurt you when I gave birth to you? We Africans, these things are not news to us. So I I say, when you start healing your inner child, when you start reparenting, when you start being there for yourself as now your own parent, when you start giving that girl, that little child what she needed, when you start healing those wounds, when you start healing, you will not need to go and tell anybody to tell you sorry. The sorry will not be as important. It's a step, and it's a good thing. But when you do the healing work, that's when you understand they did the best they could. That's when you understand they're still broken children. Even in their old age, the people who hurt you, they're still broken children inside. And a lot of us have been parented from a place of trauma. When you do the healing work, that's when you understand you have nothing to be mad at them for. You actually even want to parent them. Yeah? You're going to ask them, to tell them to ask for forgiveness, or you're going to tell them to apologize to you is not important. Let me say what's important. What's important is you healing that child. Yeah? And you don't need them or their permission or them to acknowledge what they did for you to heal that child. The only thing you know is that child is hurt and that child has issues. Yeah? So if you go through life so unhappy, if you feel like you're always sad, if you feel like you go through life just taking a day, like you're not happy with your life's decisions, you have a lot of people pleasing, you're scared, you're angry, you feel you're not worthy, you feel you're not enjoying your life, chances are you went through childhood trauma and your inner child is hurt. So come, let's work on you. You can also go back to my videos and I will put links here. Yeah? One of the videos actually comes with an action plan that guides you to a hypnosis video that helps you down the memory lane to heal that child. I have a reparenting video. I have another childhood trauma video. This is so important to me because I went through trauma and I had to heal and work towards reparenting myself. I am still reparenting myself. And let me tell you, when I talk to my mom at this point, she tells me, she watches my videos, by the way. She's one of my mom and my husband are my biggest support. She tells me she's reparenting herself. Yeah, my mom. It makes me feel so good that I was able to even give that to my mom. She tells me, Muthoni, I'm just here reparenting myself. That is what you tell us. She's reparenting herself. I am reparenting myself. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And when you heal yourself, when you heal that inner child, you actually want to heal other people. You just want to be a blessing to other people. Anyway, guys, bye-bye. I can talk here for a long time. I will put the links down here. Please watch them. And if you can, please go to Google and read a lot about inner child and healing childhood trauma. You can also watch, I'm sure there are also other people who've done videos on the same. Educate yourself and work towards healing that child. It's important so you don't pass that trauma to your children. It's also important because some of these trauma issues can prevent us even from enjoying a relationship. You can never be truly happy in a relationship if you're not able to open up and to be vulnerable. And if you want to really enjoy emotional intimacy with someone, you have to open up. And some of these trauma things that we go through as children, that we have gone through, prevent us from opening up, from being vulnerable. Because deep down we are broken, scared children, and we're scared of being hurt again. Yeah? Anyway, bye guys.